Hi, this is Sean D'Souza, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation Podcast. This podcast isn't some magic trick about how to work less. Instead, it's about how to really enjoy the work that you do and to enjoy your vacation time.
Hi, it's Sean, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation. Imagine you've missed the sunrise for the past 300 days. Would that mean you'd give up on sunrise forever? We know the answer to that question, don't we? Even if we snoozed right through a few hundred sunrises, it's possible for us to wake up on the 301st day and then bask in the glow of a morning sun. And yet, when it comes to projects, we often treat a stalled project as a form of failure. We tried, we tell ourselves, and we haven't made much progress. Hence, let's sleep through every sunrise forevermore. All projects, personal or business ones, run into difficulty at some point in time. Maybe you're writing a book and you start with gusto, and then somewhere into chapter 2 you get tired or you get lost or you get distracted. The book comes to a sudden halt. You're aware that you need to get back to writing, but it would mean starting from the top, wouldn't it? No, it doesn't. What you should do is start from the middle instead. Yes, right in the middle. Where does it say that you have to go back to the very beginning? If anything, the trip back to the start is almost always a doomed one. You realize when you get there, when you get to the beginning, that you've progressed very little, and it becomes much easier to procrastinate. It's logical to want to go to the start, yet starting in the middle is a far more effective way to go about things. Let's take an example with a book like The Brain Audit. If you've read the book, you know how it goes. It starts with the introduction, and then it moves to the concept of the 7 red bags. And so let's assume that there are 7 chapters there. And the first chapter is about the problem. What should follow in the second chapter? The solution. Most of us would agree that if we're following that sequence, which is the 7 red bags, then the sequence is very important when reading the book. However, it's not as crucial when you're writing it. As a writer, I could have easily run out of steam and then had a tough time moving sequentially ahead. And when I'm stuck, what I tend to do is go down a little diversion and write another chapter, a chapter that's a lot easier. So if I move to a chapter like objections or to testimonials, what I've done is I've completed some stuff. I get some more enthusiasm, some more energy, and now I'm on my way. But the question is, would it jeopardize the project in any way? Not any more than waking up on the 301st day and going, oh wait, I missed 300 sunrises. I'm not going to look at sunrise anymore. No, you wake up and you look at the sunrise. You start in the middle. Restarting a stalled project in the middle seems like a daft idea. After all, the project has some sort of sequence. To ignore that thread and to start anywhere seems quite ridiculous. And this is because there's no way to know whether what you're doing right now, that side project, will fit in with the final scheme of things. When you're moving ahead bit by bit, it feels like one of those trucks that lay quick dry concrete in the roads. The concrete dries and the truck moves on, and then you have a road ahead of you. And that's sensible and that's logical, and a lot of the times it doesn't work. This middle of the project kind of method seems almost too bizarre. Well, here's another example. I not only do my work, but I have lots of hobbies like photography or drawing. And when I look at my drawing books, for instance, I want to tear my hair out. I've been painting almost daily since 2010. I have these tiny diaries, which are moleskins, and I keep an account of the things that happen on a day-to-day basis, just everyday stuff, like maybe a bandage on a finger, or maybe we had to wait too long at a cafe, stuff that you can't take photographs of, stuff that you can't keep, and you have to draw. So I keep this daily record of stuff that happens. And I say daily, but often I'll open my book to find that several months have passed, and I haven't done a thing. The logical process would be to go back to the last date. That is, say I did the last drawing in December, to go back to that day in December and then continue. That's not what I do because I feel like the whole world has moved on. So what I tend to do is I make a note of what I want to put on the in-between pages, and then I have blank sections or blank pages until I'm right at the current date. And I start the drawing with all these in-between blank pages, and then I work my way backwards from there. It's the same thing when I'm putting together some kind of copywriting project. When you look at copywriting, you say, wait a second, there's the sales page, there are so many elements. How am I going to put this all together? And again, we go logically. Let's start at the top, then we do the next thing. And you can't always get that right because once you get stalled, you have to somehow pull away from the road, go on the diversion, get yourself a lime soda, get refreshed, come back on the road. And that's what I do with copywriting as well. I will go off and do some little bits and pieces that are easily done, stuff that makes me excited again, and then bring it back and kind of sometimes even force fit it. But most of the times it's there. You know what needs to be done. You're just going off the road and you're starting somewhere in the middle rather than the sequential thing. A lot of projects get into a mess because of our insistence on a logical sequence. When you and I get stuck, we need to do what is the easiest, or at least what's fresh, what's interesting. We've lost steam, and going back doesn't give us any energy. Starting where we are is small, it's inconsequential, but it's what's needed to get things moving. Start in the middle, start where you are. If your project is stalled, try and find something that's easy to do, that's quick. It doesn't have to be part of the sequence of things that you plan to do. It could be something completely weird that's even very small and inconsequential, but it gets you that enthusiasm. And that's the kind of method that I use, which is I start in the middle. And yep, most of the time it works. And sometimes you just go, oh no, let's go to the start. Everything doesn't work like it should. But here's what you can do today. You've definitely got some project that you want to do. Some project that you started with a lot of enthusiasm and now it's stalled and you want to get back into it. Well, don't go sequentially. Find the easiest thing that you can do and that gives you the momentum and you're back into it. And that brings us to the end of this podcast. What's the one thing that you can do? Pick up that project that is stalled, find something easy, and get going. All of us get stalled. We're all doing too many things. That's not going to change. So at least let's see the end of this project, whatever it is. And with that, let's find out what's happening in Psychotactics land. There are many things that slow us down, that don't let us go ahead. Fear is one of them. But the second thing is just not having a companion along the way. So much stuff can get done if you just have someone that's there for you every single day. And that's kind of what we have in 5000 BC. Now, 5000 BC has lots of information, but you're up to your ears in information. What you need is specific information. You have a project that's going. You run into some kind of problem. Maybe you need someone to look at a sales page, or maybe you don't know which software to use or which program to use. And that's what 5000 BC is a large part about. It's about getting things done because all of us want more time. We do want more money. We want to increase revenue and stuff like that. But at the end of it, all of that is just to have a better life. It is not to become Jeff Bezos and a gazillionaire. I mean, there are other websites for that, which 10x your income and 50x your customers. That's not what 5000 BC is about. It's a sane place where people help each other. And there are some really good case studies there, which have just come in without us asking. Neha Avasti, for instance, was struggling for quite a while. And then she started out this Instagram system, and now she's into consulting and doing extremely well in the middle of this whole pandemic. We have Sumbella, and she's working with another company, but she's using all the concepts from pre-sale, and she keeps asking questions. And she's had like 900 people showing up on her webinar, which is a lot more than we get. So she's obviously doing something even better than we are. And then we have Susanna, who just documented her journey from designing tea towels, which she couldn't sell because of the pandemic, and now she started to create online courses that are doing quite well. One of them is in Patagonia, the other is in Dubai, the third is in Australia. And this is the kind of thing that works with 5000 BC. So if you're thinking, well, I'm alone, well, most of us are alone. Most of us, when we work as business owners, are alone. And 5000 BC just gives you that place where you can ask those questions without feeling stupid or silly, and you can ask them as often as you want. And there's inspiration from people who have started 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 10 months ago. This isn't something like ours, which is like a 20-year-old impossible journey to follow. It's something that's just started. So it gives you that inspiration, but there's also the cooperation. And if you really feel like you want to do something, then 5000 BC is the place for you. I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye. Still listening? It seems like a long time ago, but the website that we redid a few years ago, it took a whole 3 years. And it wasn't because it was a 3-year project. It was just that I would start and stop, and then we'd go on holiday, and then we'd start again. And I'd try to go to the beginning. And of course, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for the programmers, especially for the programmers. But also, I'd forgotten where I was. And the only way I could push myself forward is to create some side pages like about cooking or some recipes or cartoons or things that didn't seem consequential in the framework of the website, where you have to have your sales pages and you have to have your About Us page and all those very, very important things. And all of those side roads, they were needed anyway, but getting them done every time I came back, that seemed so much easier to do than to go right to the very start. And now I'm in the middle of another project, which is the Suddenly Talented book. And that's been a 10-year journey, which needs fixing. And you can be sure I'll be going down some of those diversions because that's the only way I can go forward. If you have any questions or want to disagree with me, send me an email. It's at sean@psychotactics.com. I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, and I'll see you in 5000 BC.